what's going on in the news? What's out there that's actually trending and maybe requiring some conversation? So thanks, Todd, for the idea. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to peruse or even get some regular, magazines or stuff coming in or web based. They still send out magazines these days.
Yeah, I
Did
have
I
no
just date
idea.
myself?
I have no clue.
They do, in fact. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
they.
I found a pretty interesting article because I don't get magazines. I thought maybe I'd share it. And threw it up on the screen here. Just let me know if you can see it. Oh, there it is. And I mean, if you ever
Oh
watched the
my
movie Men in
goodness!
Black,
Look
this
at
is how
this.
Men in Black get their news, right? And they're smart dudes. So I don't know, man. I think there's some scary shit going on out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love this.
You watch out. You watch out.
Earthlings are
Zorks.
bad at calculating risk. Yeah.
That's
Very nice.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, um, if indeed that were only true, I think where you were going with it, Todd, is what's in the news, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You didn't have any punctuation on your text, so I was like, maybe he means like, what's in the news? Like, is it bad or what's in the news? So
I left it very
help me out.
open-ended. It was open to interpretation. It could be a question, it could be a statement, whatever you want.
Cool. Who wants to go first?
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess I love.
I have been noticing, I don't know if you guys have seen, but I have been noticing that there seems to be a lot of manufacturer focus on ADAS, clarifying language around ADAS, clarifying procedures around, what was it, the thing I saw about Ford clarifying like some procedures on park sensor repairs and refinishing procedures. I don't know if you guys come across any of these things from some of the big brands starting to take like a serious stance on it.
No.
Yeah, I have noticed a few of those coming through, especially the sensors one, where basically the credentials that they're putting on refinishing them are pretty tough.
Like just
Very
the
specific,
tolerances for
right?
like film thickness or yeah.
Yep.
Yes, and the exact portion of the sensor that you can actually paint. So
Yep.
it's not, I think you know how some sensors have just gotten painted, you mask off a portion and you paint the whole thing. It'll be a little bit more specific than just a simple mask job.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
actually here I'm just gonna read it quick. There's a bunch of do nots that they published. Like touch you do not touch up or repaint sensors. You guys have never done that, right? If a sensor is already painted, it must be replaced if it's damaged. Do not sand or scuff the sensor before painting. Service parts come primed, ready for paint. Do not allow paint to get into the connector. Yeah, well, that's kind of like Captain Obvious, but and then do not use immersion cleaning. Instead, only use a white method, which I assume could include like pump spray bottles, that kind of thing, like no soaking it. But they say in here 4 mils. The paint cannot extend more than 4 mils from the front edge. It's like, wow, that's pretty like specific stuff.
Yeah, very specific. And how many people are gauging that stuff after it comes out of the booth and understand that. I'm gonna play devil's advocate too, though. I mean, like so much of this stuff seems to me like this is just a sell part scheme. You can't scuff and repaint a bumper or not a bumper, sorry, a
A
sensor.
sensor.
It's like
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
like no, that's the thing. Like we're in a position right now where nobody is questioning the OEMs because it's all wrapped in safety, right? It's safety concern. Like,
Yeah.
no, you don't touch that. We don't talk about airbag components. Don't talk about ADAS. If the OEM says it needs to be replaced, it needs to be replaced. But man, are we trending through to throw away vehicles here? Like
Yeah.
nothing is going to be
Yeah.
repairable by the end of it. And I understand it.
Yeah, I
We're
agree
in a
with that.
bad position as repairers because we're liable. Now there's a whole conversation about insurance company who carries the liability. I've always had the attitude here at our facility that we're liable for everything. That's how we should act. That's how we should operate. That's how we should repair vehicles. So we follow the procedures, we do things right. But some of these procedures I'm reading is just like, holy man, like really? We'll throw away these sensors, like off to the landfill, can't scuff it, can't repaint it. Like really? I don't know.
Well,
I'm
and
having a
then
hard
that
time with
becomes
that.
the whole car
Well,
gets thrown out, right? Because now the cost of repairing it is high because of parts and extra parts you don't need. So now we're throwing the whole car away so we can sell another car.
yeah,
And you're right. The consumerism of safety is something that needs to be discussed out in the open
yeah,
because it's real. And
Yeah. And
we're trying to be
you,
green and environmental at the
yeah,
same
not just
time.
toss everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
exactly. It
can't
makes it
have
really hard.
safety and environmental at the same time.
Yeah. So
Right. Like it does kind of like you wonder, is it a parts play? I don't know. I don't have the discussions or the knowledge to know that, but it is kind of like almost feels like an admonishment from liability. They're like, well, if you don't do it exactly this way, then when it fails, it's not our fault.
yeah,
It's kind of, and then it leaves us in a spot where we're trying to do the right thing, but sometimes the right thing is actually being cost effective. So how do you like
I know.
how do you square that?
And
Well, that
anything that
was
gets wrapped in safety, you wrap anything in safety and it's like, oh, hands off, can't talk about it anymore. It's a safety concern.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I'm
Yeah.
not, to Todd's point, we're not experts on all this, but I think we're in a pretty good position having been in the industry as long as we are to speculate about it at least and talk about it and theorize on the
Yeah.
direction that things are headed. And I don't know. To me, like everything is becoming throwaway. Like we're not repairing anything. It's like, nope, safety, got to
Yeah.
replace it. You can't do a repair to the bumper in this area because there's a sensor behind it. It's like, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Sorry, Lenny, I cut you off there.
All right, that's okay. I don't talk much, so um, and that got all unpacked in the podcast with Michael Giovizza, right?
Yeah.
There's just the word transparency,
Yeah.
and I mean, at the end of the day, I think what I heard you say, Norm, first of all, is like everyone we're liable for everything. Well, that's what every business should be
Mm-hmm.
obviously taking a stance on. I mean, liable for something out of our control. Well, until proven otherwise, we're going to take control of everything that's on us. That's grocery store with food or a gas station with proper,
Yeah.
filtered fuel, whatever it is. So that makes sense. The transparency conversation, I think works. I'm not sure what you meant by like, so what if you do question that OE procedure that says you cannot paint that sensor more than twice? Like, is that something that it can be controlled, or who's the one that's going to question that, right? Not to get into OE versus insurance versus body shop. I think what you're saying is like, it's hard to know what to believe. It's hard to know what to stand by. And of course, being the person who fixes the car, we have to go with a lot of what we're told to do, because at the end of the day, if we don't, we will be the ones held liable. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's common sense doesn't hold up in court. And industry practices don't hold up in court. It's,
Right.
a best practice isn't in place of a repair procedure, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's no repair procedure, in which case, yeah, I mean, all you can do is your best. But it is just interesting because it's not just this. There's way more language coming out from GM and Ford on all their ADAS stuff. I came across an article on and of course this is US based stuff, but they're actually like legislating ADAS clarification for modified vehicles in the US, because there's like, what do we do? Because now we've got, like, say, an unapproved lift or an unapproved wheel and tire package or an unapproved whatever in a vehicle, and you're leaving the repair shop in a spot where they're very vulnerable. So the US government's actually, I think it was like a bipartisan thing in the US where they're like, we got to give repair shops some kind of standards. So I think currently, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's up to the National Highway Safety, whatever, in the US to come up with some language that'll help direct repair shops on what to do. Because you technically you can't calibrate a lane change thing on a lifted Ford. Like it's out of range.
Yeah. It
What
really puts us in
parameters
a
are you aligning?
Right.
well, yeah, and it puts us in a tough spot, right? Because you've got the OEMs handing us, what they feel is well, what they think is right or what they say is right, and then you've got the insurance company that's throwing their rules at what they're paying for, what they're not paying for, and then you've got the customers showing up with a modified vehicle saying, "Fix my vehicle. I
Right.
can modify my vehicle and do whatever I want. You're not going to tell me what to do." Right. So how do body shop owners, how do collision repair facilities process all that and come out in a position where they can be successful? Because often in what I just laid out, the solution seems to be that we're gonna take we're gonna take a hit to make it work, right? It's like the OEM says this, the insurance
Right.
company won't pay for it, but in the name of safety and because we're liable, we're just gonna do it anyways, right? Or
Yeah, which is
the customer expectation is this, but the insurance company is not paying for that. So we're gonna cover that ground. So a lot of times I just feel like we're the ones who get kind of caught in the middle. And I'm not trying to paint this as a woe is me thing, but it is a reality. And I'm sure that there's tons of body shops that are struggling with that out there every day, right? And trying to decide, like, what do I do? Do I firmly hold to the OEM procedure and tell my customer, sorry, this is what it is? Do I do the same with the insurance company, or do I, not follow the OEM procedure to the letter because the insurance company is not telling, who do we hitch our wagon to? Right? It's, whose vehicle is it? We had that podcast, like who's the
yeah.
customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lenny, if you got
Yep.
something
Some
smart to
tricky
say, this
stuff
would be a
out there.
nice time for
Yeah.
you right here, right now, buddy.
I just like
Get in there,
every
man.
time I let Norm talk, I come up with more questions. It's so
Yeah,
bad.
I
that's good.
know.
That's good.
I know. Um, but sorry, Chad, you had said something about the mil thickness on a sensor. And then
Yeah.
somebody had said, well, who actually checks that? I'm curious. Do you guys actually encourage or have people who just even work for you that follow up on what's going on in the industry? Do your body techs and painters follow any of this? Do you know of? And that's not to shame them if they don't, but it'd be kind of cool to know. Are the people out on the floor actually doing it or being given access and encouraged to look into what the trends are, or is it just give me my next car?
Good. That's a very good question.
Thank you.
So where like, give me some examples, like what's paint?
I do if I'm a painter
Yep.
and I get a sensor
Yep.
and it's used or it's off the existing car and I have to paint it. Do I know that, hey, that's not okay?
Right. When's the last time you were asked that in on a shop floor? Like,
Let's go back one step
yeah.
further. That's the access to the programs like All Data, and I'm dating myself. There's the other one, Repair.
To be totally transparent in our situation, by the time it lands in paint, we're not doing repair planning like we're supposed to be doing repair planning at the start,
Yeah.
and those decisions are made earlier in the process.
Okay. Yeah. So again, that means that repair planning, you're pulling up All Data, or again, what's the other one?
Repair
Yeah.
logic.
The other one, Repair Logic, and you're looking at that information to say, can I repaint that sensor?
Right.
Correct.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it
Mhm.
is an interesting thought. Like, I don't actually know how engaged our teams are on like what's happening in the industry. I know that we bought a very, very expensive paint mill gauge measuring device that measures on like non-metal
Yeah.
surfaces.
Correct.
And it lives in our paint shop. We use it quite a bit. But from what I understand, like we'll actually like you have to measure. You get because of Mercedes, like actually I'm sure it's lots of brands, but I'm familiar with those. Mercedes, if they have the whatever that self-driving is thing that they call it, I should know it off the top of my head, but the you're only allowed to paint the bumper twice. Once from the factory, one repaint, that's it. no repair in the areas around the sensors, and like that's it. They're just like this doesn't work. If you so
Who found that out
technically,
though? Who found
it's
that out?
repair procedures. It's all in the procedures. So and it'll tell you a maximum paint mill thickness dry or whatever. And we've had cars in there that you know what you paint like you bring a factory painted bumper in. You can do a repair in certain areas. You repaint it. Ooh, they didn't do the best job painting it. It's the wrong color. You got to buy a new bumper
Well,
because
yeah,
you can't paint it again.
right.
It's like, oh, well, this is an unfortunate like thing to have to deal with, but to do it right, that's what you have to do.
So what if that vehicle comes into your shop, that bumper's been repainted once, you're gonna paint it the second
Yeah,
time, so when it's over. So
yeah,
are we
you
handing
can't.
the procedure to
Y-
insurance
Yeah,
company saying you gotta buy a new bumper? Well, that's not pre-accident
yeah,
like you see where this
yeah.
goes,
It's
and
crazy, right? It's like, oh yeah, I agree.
yeah, and there goes your repair
You
planning,
know,
right? Just, yeah,
yep,
unless you did a mill thickness check right at your pre-inspection stage, which is not crazy to do. 100% is doable, right? Those are variables you can control. But
totally.
okay, you do the exercise, you find that the mill thickness is going to exceed the specs. Who's gonna cover that? Is the vehicle owner gonna pay the extra?
These are all great questions, and that's exactly it. And you know what? Um, you know, give a shout out to ICBC right now. They are doing collision and glass um, tours or whatever they call them, town halls around the province, and it was the best. I just attended last week, and it was the best industry meeting I think we've ever had. Like it was very well facilitated and moderated, and like the discussion points are all really good. I thought it was awesome. But yeah, they admit they're in the same spot. They're like, what do we do with this? Like, and they just they're like common sense. Like, unfortunately, just doesn't apply anymore. Like we just
Hmm.
if it's written, we got to go in and until we can figure out as an industry like how to hold the manufacturers accountable for the procedures they're putting out. We're on the end of it. Like you just have to do what's up there. So kind of an interesting thing. And then you see manufacturers pushing more and more and more clarity and position statements that are much more direct and less vague. You gotta as an industry, like we're having to adapt full time.
Right. And into that conversation, I don't know if you guys get the same pushback we do here in Manitoba, but a position statement is not a repair procedure in Manitoba, right?
No.
And
Yep.
if there's a position statement about something and that is not reflected in the specific repair procedure for the vehicle,
Yeah.
we're not
Doesn't
getting it,
doesn't really
which
count. Yeah.
so there's also a disconnect there that needs to be addressed because I know a lot of shops, one in particular comes to mind who's having it out with the insurance company right now saying, I'm holding the position statement. This is how they want us to repair their vehicles. And the insurance company is saying, yeah, but I'm looking at the repair procedures right now and they do not call that out. These repair procedures were written for this vehicle and it does not talk about that. We are not going to pay for it.
Right. So then what's the difference in your mind, Norm? Because I know that you're really in tune with this kind of thing. What's the difference between a position statement and a repair procedure in your mind?
In my mind, the position statement blankets a number of things and is meant to probably in some ways fill in the gaps, right? And just kind of encompass everything. And then the repair procedure is for that vehicle. So to me, if it's mentioned in the position statement, it should be understood that it applies in every repair that's being
Right.
done. That's the way I look at it. And maybe
Yeah, I
someone
do
out there
too.
is going to say,
But
Norm, you're an idiot. That's not the way it's meant to work. But I
right.
mean, just at a practical
Yeah.
level, that's how it's like here, we start here, position statement, repair procedures. If it's not outlined in here and it's outlined in here, you still do it. and I talk with my hands because I'm French. Leave me alone. But that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way.
it's okay.
That's the way
It's
I
okay.
understand it.
We'll
But
forgive you for that.
that's not the way the insurance company looks at it. Now, is that just them, finding, aha, we don't have to pay for something, but you're still going to do it, right? That's the skeptical person in me, my tinfoil and, I don't like the insurance company hat on is going to say that, which
Yeah.
is pretty reasonable, right? A lot of people are going to come to that conclusion because it's not the first or the last time that stunt's been pulled, but it does leave us in a bad position.
Yeah, like
I
position
believe that
statements
you
seem
guys.
to be a bit more broad, right?
Yeah.
Like they're less specific. Like one that I read recently, I just pulled it up quick. The position statement the GM updated removed the word not recommended when discussing the use of aftermarket or non-genuine parts and accessories in ADAS sensor areas. The revised statement now says the use of salvaged, recycled, reconditioned, remanufactured, aftermarket, or any secondary market ADAS radars, cameras, censored, or related components is not approved. And it's like, oh, okay, well that's like not as vague, and you can see that they intentionally removed that language out of there.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, so yeah, that position statement. Now I believe in our market at least that position statement would guide the repair procedure. Like it's sort of like
Correct.
your prerequisite,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree that but in lots of context, I mean, a position statement that says that wheels should never be refinished.
Right.
Like the insurance companies are just laughing at this. And to be honest, in our market, they're taking on the liability. They're like, look, if it's a repairable wheel, we have repair facilities that we pre-approve, and we'll take the liability if there's a failure on that wheel. So okay, I guess.
So I want to jump in because I love that you guys shared confidence in what you're doing in each of your shops. What I want to know, indeed, are you taking very seriously that all your technicians, especially at the repair plan stage, have access to the proper repair procedures, not position statements,
Right.
in your facility?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't have a doubt in
Okay,
that, but
great.
it's not easy.
Good.
Anyways.
It's not.
Fair.
It is still not
I
easy.
I
That's
just wonder
true.
how many people listening are like, do we? Right? So the next question I have, and this is something from a recent kind of, I guess hyper focused, but tour and talking to multiple shops is how many, and you guys please add in, how many of you have a clear defined set of rules to what insurance will or will not pay for? I mean, ultimately, whether DRP or not, you do want to know what they're prepared to or agree to. I'll tell you this before any of you answer is most shops don't. And if they do it, they don't have access to it or they're not accessing it. And then what happens when you put something on your sheet that in agreement or not, they pay for or don't is what gets you flagged. And now they start picking apart everything else. So I don't want to go too far off track with what is allowed or should be allowed. But the fact is, if you're not truly paying attention to what should be happening to that vehicle and you're not truly paying attention to what you're entitled to, I use that word liberally, is that not causing you a whole lot of headache and you're leaving lots on the table? Just those two things alone.
Yeah, big time.
Well, I know definitely since we've been playing in the ADAS market a lot more now lately. Yeah, as good as we thought we were, we're definitely finding gaps in what we were doing before.
Yeah.
The more you dig, the more you find. And, the more we have discussions on whether the or the mission statement or the repair procedure is the chicken or the egg, right? Like we're having that chat now.
Yeah.
But I think earlier you also asked Lenny too is how aware are our technicians and staff and how engaged are they in maybe even learning this info on their own?
Yeah, that's a
How
good question. That could vary technician to technician, but
Mm-hmm.
how shops are like how many technicians in your province, in your shops, in your cities are working on laptops and have direct access to look something up while they're working on a repair without having to go ask somebody to print something to, like, it's a good question.
Put up a lot of network cable in my shops in the past 15 years.
Yeah, you got that right. And I think it's like kind of a mindset shift too, where it used to be assume it doesn't have or doesn't require calibration only to read the procedures and find out it does. I think the new mindset is assume it does need a calibration only to read the procedures and find out it doesn't. Because that's what I'm, that's what we're feeling here, is that in the repair planning stage, it was always like, oh, let's look it up and see if it needs a calibration. Now it's like, no, this vehicle needs a calibration. I will read into it.
Which one did we forget about?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly. Or sometimes 3, 4. You're like, oh, we never thought about all those. Yeah.
And static and dynamic. And
oh, man.
Yeah.
And a wheel alignment. And,
steering
get the winter tires off of it.
Yeah. Do you have a full tank of fuel? All that stuff in the trunk. I mean, it never ends.
Yeah. So I've got another one because I read this one the other day on the so-called, apparently there's like a skilled labor shortage going on.
Oh, what?
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, what is this all about? So I'll share it because it tails in with I believe what I think was a solution in answer to this, maybe. But it was a quick picture and a little blurb here talking about just automotive, right? So Ford Motor Company CEO Jim Farley said that the skilled labor shortage in the U.S. has reached critical levels. His company, unable to fill 5,000 openings, many of these pay 6 figures. So obviously, because of algorithms and what you search, then this one popped in on my LinkedIn. So this is iCar jumping on the train with a podcast. And again, somebody did a podcast and brought them on to speak to the technician shortage and what they're doing about it. This should just give me a thumbs up with sound.
iCard isn't just a training organization. You guys are fully vested in the industry to solve a lot of the problems that we have, or at least help solve them. Talk to me about iCar's role in addressing the tech shortage.
Yeah, so iCar truly at the foundation is a training. So what we do with tech shortage is we have everything from like collision careers. We have our academy program that even the community college I'm on the advisory committee for, they participate in, getting the message out there, reaching out to high schools. If we can get our, message across right away, I feel like that can kind of start the contact with students that may not have known about collision or just, never really had an interest. At least get that message in a positive manner right off the bat.
So not to pick on iCar, kudos for doing something about it. And if that's what they said they're doing, which is getting out to the high schools and whatever. I just, I think about iCar, I'm like, that's a pretty big organization. Can they back that up as part of helping with the technician shortage? I mean, maybe we need to get these guys on a podcast too before we bash them. I'm happy to do so.
Yeah.
But iCar is one of them that's saying, no, we're taking this head on and we're going to make it happen. Is it possible? Have you seen this? And again, anyone putting an initiative out there, good on you, going against the grain, finding a new solution. But is that actually happening or is it just hype?
I haven't seen it.
Can't
I
say
haven't seen that one come out. Yeah. I did hear more about the Ford Motor Company one because he got trashed pretty hard for that because for the most part, I think independent mechanic shops are growing at a very high rate right now, and that's basically mechanics leaving the dealership model, so that they can have more work-life balance and maybe make even more money as well too.
Really? So that was the I'm kind of in the dark on this one. That was some of the backlash he got for making that comment.
Yeah, well, he's right. He can't find technicians. He's not wrong on that point. The reason why is because of the business model and how people are treated. We've started a new mechanic business, and Not gonna lie, most or both of my mechanics don't want to be part of the dealership industry. It's not fun. It's especially, you know how we complain about, maybe book times not being correct, or they're based on new cars. Okay, they deal with that as well too, but then they deal with the warranty work side of things, where a warranty job pays maybe 40% of what the actual time should be, and they actually don't get paid until that ticket is fully closed. Those hours are held. So yeah, interesting model in the dealership mechanical world. So yeah, if you're chasing
Yeah.
people away and crying for them at the same time, that's usually doesn't go over well with the actual working class.
No, it
Well,
doesn't.
that's more layered than I expected it to be.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, in that article, they're talking about hitting a critical point. But I mean, like any of us in the industry here, like we
Oh,
hit the panic button a long time ago on this. And I mean, this conversation
yeah,
always floats around, whether it's amongst shops in the industry or even with our trade association, is like what's going to need to happen for this to get the attention it deserves. And we've always said, like, until the consumer starts feeling the pinch, and like I don't know,
yeah.
I don't know what's going to force the issue to get the attention it deserves, I guess, is what I'm asking.
The issue of technician shortage
Correct.
to get it the attention it deserves. Well,
Will it ever?
years ago, well, I can speak for the company I'm so grateful to spend time with, which was Concourse. We just stopped the language. We stopped complaining about it. It
Hmm.
might have been real. Maybe we sounded idealistic. We just looked in a different barrel. We just, we had to find a different way to get people up and coming and fast into the trade. And to be honest, with the system that we ran, which I mean, we've talked about this before, put a price on quality of life. I mean,
Totally.
Jojo, if
Yeah.
what you said was people making over our 6 digits still wouldn't work in a place because there's no quality of life. Kind of sucks when you're a company that says, hey, you're only going to work your 8 hours and we're going to pay you a good wage. And based on some team performance, we can make some great things happen. But
Yeah,
we are not going to slug you out for 18 hours a day expecting 250%. That model's gone. Or is
yeah.
it? Right. So
Should be.
we ended up with very young, green, but driven people. And then we ended up with a lot of people, not miled out per se, some might have been, but just tired of the rat race. They just wanted to work an honest job until they were ready to retire. And of course, we shared how we used our technicians who had the experience. We lowered their efficiency and we had them bring up 3 others, right? But that was just us at Concourse, one business doing its best to solve the technician shortage. I've never thought of putting it on a podcast saying we're going to pump as many apprentices as we can into the system and we'll get through this, guys. I don't again want to say anything against ICAR for showing up in a high school and saying, hey, we have resources, kudos, to show interest in this. But do people out there truly have something to back it up when they say we're going to put things out there that'll bring more techs in? Are we missing the point? Right? Why is it not in the news? As Jojo said, do you have a place that people actually want to work at?
Yeah, that's so true. Right? That's
Yep.
exactly it. Do you have a place? Do you have an industry that considers people's health, well-being, life balance,
Hmm.
all the things? Do you? Uh, that's maybe us three are pursuing that, or us four for that matter. But
Mhm.
but is the industry as a whole? I don't know about that. Because yeah,
Well,
they're
with
good.
your gut,
They're good paying jobs. They can be really good paying jobs, but I hear from people that have worked at dealers that they don't sleep at night because the dealership is just all the service advisors there are paid bonuses based on selling unrequired stuff, and it's like, so the technicians are like, yeah, okay, like I'm making money, but I feel like a horrible human being, and that's part of their
mm,
well-being.
Yep.
Can't handle it.
mm.
So, it's
Did
like,
that
oh, that's
land right in a body shop too,
it,
where we didn't get all the parts? So you're pulling out the
yeah.
two part glue and getting that bumper stuck on a Friday at 4:30, right? I mean,
yeah, it's all the
it can be
same.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So to that point, and I'm really going to ruffle some feathers here, is there actually a labor shortage? Or are we just hearing from the places that maybe don't take quality of life and their employees seriously and therefore unable to secure them? Are those the ones that are making all the noise saying that there's a technician shortage out there, or is there actually a technician shortage?
Good question.
Well, yeah, to me, the answer is yes. It is them and there is a shortage, but I also know you three well, and you're well aware of where the shortage is. But is that truly what the focus should be on? Right? Is that actually the biggest issue? Right? And is that what's hitting the news or the headlines? No, what sounds really good on the news and headlines. There's a shortage, you know.
Mhm.
And there is.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Well, of
Mhm.
course
Yeah,
there
is.
is,
But
but
why?
what are we what are we focused on here? What's the
Yeah.
actual reason? And if it was now, W5, dun dun dun, businesses aren't hiring new people. Wait, what? Yeah, they're not training their new people. Like, now, do people get excited if they were to see that in the news? Is that,
Right.
I don't know, like, another car put together with all the parts. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
autopsy of a bad repair. Where did that podcast go? The autopsy of a bad repair. There were multiple people in one business involved in the repair on that car, and it went out the door.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yep.
there's a
And
technician
you know what?
shortage.
My like curiosity, I want to know like who in that process was like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. This is awful. Like I hate this because I guarantee you there's somebody there.
Mhm.
Maybe all of them. To be honest, they could all be like feel just sick about what happened, or and they might feel like that every day.
Yep.
And if you feel like
Fine.
that every day, how long do you stay in the business?
Right.
Yep. Yep. Because we all agreed, and just for that car, if anyone's not watched it, go back. I think it's like episode 6 or something. It's called The Autopsy of a Bad Repair. But we agreed the actual structural repair was good. The finishing and the
The
details to
detail, yeah.
proper parts in the beginning, right? That's where it was missed. Now, is that a lack of experienced technicians,
Yeah,
or
we
is
don't
that
know.
just a piss poor system? And I think we agreed that if it had a proper system in place, it would have never gotten past certain points in the system.
Yeah.
So again, this was about what's the media saying, what's going on in the industry. I just wonder if anyone has an article out there willing to show what the actual businesses are or are not doing. So we want to shame, because I guess that's what a lot of people feed off of. I don't. I want to see what people are doing, and that's why I shared the article thing. It intrigues me. I'd like to get these guys on a podcast and actually ask them,
Yeah.
is it true? Do you guys are doing this, and do you have something to back it up with? Because I'm sure those guys get thrown in the mix too on getting blamed by their shortage of technicians, right?
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that'd make for a good episode. Probably have a few more questions I'd like to ask Icar at the same time while we have him on. But
I definitely have
right.
some questions for
Yeah.
Icar.
I will make sure it happens. You bet.
There you go. We have faith in you, Lenny.
Any other? Thanks, brother. Well, I got good connections, man. So,
Good connections.
anything else, guys, in the news related to the? Could even be the industry, but even as a business owner, like anything that you just see, and it's like, man, like I haven't watched the news since 2012,
No.
and I have kids. I get plenty of current events thrown at me, trust me, but I don't believe in watching something that's built around making money off of only the stories that get attention. And yeah, there's bad things going on. You do have to stay in touch, but I don't turn on the television for it. Right?
No,
What
neither
else
do
are you
I.
guys seeing
Neither
out
do
there
I.
as business owners that's causing some concern? Or perhaps that maybe you did read an article that they saved 7 puppies from a storm sewer drain. Like, I don't know. Like, what? What are we talking about here, right? Is the news indeed a big part of what's also causing problems in this industry?
Well, something that's not
body
so
shops get a bad rap, right?
right.
Was that Todd?
Yeah, well, I mean, even we gave a body shop a bit of a bad rap looking at the autopsy. So I don't know. I don't watch the news either, so I get some industry news to my inbox, but that's it. Norm, sorry I cut you off, buddy.
No, I was just going to say, I think the biggest thing in Manitoba that probably is getting no attention is right to repair. We had a huge win with some right to repair legislation that is going to be passed here in Manitoba. And they actually, it sounds like the automotive sector will be amongst one of the first industries to I guess to be the beneficiary of some of that new legislation. So they're looking at that right now. And so they were talking about the different areas that this was going to impact. So like consumer electronics was one of them. I think they're the ones that are going to get the immediate attention. But then I think automotive is right behind it, ahead of ag. And I know ag has been a big thing, right? Right to repair. There's been a big push
Those
there.
are all farmers there.
Well, yeah. I mean, as I gaze upon the field behind my shop here, so yeah, and I feel like this right to repair stuff, like, man, there was some huge stuff going on in the States around that. I want to say 2 years ago, it feels like there was a big push, right? Some states were getting some legislation pushed and the OEMs are pushing back, and it kind of went quiet. There's some stuff happening at the national level here with AIA in Canada. And then I don't know what happened. It kind of went quiet. Things, I don't know, it's like anything else political, right? They gain traction, they lose traction. I know as a trade association here in Manitoba, we had conversations with the minister in charge of MPI, and there was a lot of talk about it, but it landed. And so there's some interesting changes coming to that legislation here in Manitoba, which hopefully are going to help independent repair shops access information. So back to accessing information, right? So that we can properly repair vehicles. So I don't know. Maybe that's newsworthy for some, not others. I think it's a big win for our industry.
Looking right at the AIA website, and it's flashing all kinds of terminology. There's even a right to repair.ca.
Yeah,
with the AIA.
AIA has been pushing it pretty hard. Yeah, they're driving the bus on this for sure, as far as I know. But again, I'm not an expert.
Yeah, the only problem that I find with a lot of this right to repair is unless it's national and it creates consistency across all the borders, then we're still stuck in that conversation. Like, yay, Manitoba might win for a little bit, but the rest of the country is going, are we on that bus? When's that bus coming? And I think also that the goalposts on right to repair and what that actually means. Like, are we talking about access to software, or are we being able to actually repair instead of just read? And the technology is changing so fast that I think legislation, like we see in the States, from a state to state level versus national level, they get to the point where, like, yeah, we're good, and then the industry changes, and it's like, okay, well, now this doesn't cover that. Now we're on to the next problem that technology is causing in the Right Repair Act, or where the coders went next to hide the little herringbone that's keeping everybody from getting access. So
yeah, because
it just seems like that game has been going on forever, and there's been wins, and yet there's still the same problems.
Yeah. Well, and the more integrated electronics become, the more the harder this is going to get.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw that story out of California. I think this was last year. There was somebody who bought I'm not even going to point to a make, but they bought a vehicle and none of the features that they were, what's the word I'm looking for? None of the, I'll call them convenience features were activated. And when they went back to the dealership, they said, well, no, we this became like about who owns the information. So there's something going on in California. And they said, well, if we can't transmit that information, you can't have these features. So this vehicle came with all these features that were not working. So now the consumer's like, how dare you take away, these little features, take all my information. I don't care anymore. I just want my, Google Maps to work properly. And I want my telematics to work, properly. How many kilometers till empty, like all these little things that were changed and didn't work because the OEM apparently needed access to the information. Well, how quickly that didn't matter anymore. So again, I don't know where this is going. Jojo, you know what? You're right, Jojo. This has been kicking around for a long time, and we sometimes come across these headlines, but do we actually feel anything different in our day to day? I don't know.
Well, I was just going to share it because it's on the internet, so it has to be true.
Obviously.
This one is the right to repair law not needed in Canada, say the automakers and dealers.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Why would that's like the hotels lobbying for Airbnbs to be not allowed? Like, of course.
Yeah, and they just say it's not necessary.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
But I don't know.
I can speak to that a little bit. Some of the things that have come up during this, and some of like that the OEMs and dealers have been bringing up is an agreement called CASIS, CASIS.
Okay.
So CASIS, Canadian Automotive Service Information Standards, a 2009 voluntary agreement ensuring that independent repair shops have access to the same service and repair information as authorized dealers. But here's the key part of that. That was a voluntary agreement. The OEMs do not have to participate in that. So that was one of the things that came up in one of the presentations from the OEMs here in Manitoba when this was being discussed, is that we don't need these extra laws. We already have cases. So what do we need this for? So that was one of the times where you could see where, our association, the Automotive Trades Association, which primarily represents independent repair shops, we, for 9 times out of 10, we are in alignment with the Motor Dealers Association, the MMDA here in Manitoba. But this was a case where we were not. The dealers and the OEMs are saying, no, we don't need these. Don't need these laws.
Yeah, and I would personally advocate for the repair instructions being free and accessible for anybody and everybody, because I think like people are gonna put new brakes on their car in the driveway. Like, why not give them the instructions to do it properly?
Can we not wrap this up in the name of safety and get away with anything too? Right? You know what I mean? Like,
seriously,
it's a matter of public safety. We need to access this information. That trumps everything, doesn't it? We talked about this.
Yeah, and it is actually like a public safety issue.
Yeah, I would say it's more of a public safety issue than that film thickness on the sensor potentially.
You better believe it. Yeah. Like, go ahead, Joel.
At what time does your Mercedes that is now 20 years old, that has all of these features that they may or may not work anymore for whatever reason, is that vehicle allowed on the road?
Yeah, it's like what are, and I don't remember how long manufacturers are required to warranty SRS like safety components for, but it's like way longer than your average warranty. It must be at least 10 years or something like that. And if there's a recall, it's like any time during its life. You do wonder, you put all these safety features on a vehicle, like manufacturers at some point, maybe they need to take on the responsibility of them working. Because it's like, yeah, you're right. New cars of, 2018, it's not that many years till they're 20 years old. And like, is any of this stuff going to work?
Yeah.
Or
but back to our previous point,
working right.
Well, yeah. And is that vehicle going to be on the road in 20 years? At this rate, likely not even close.
Is it?
Right?
Probably not. But if it is it safe? Yeah. Like it's a really arguable thing. And then if the public doesn't have access to information, to the public or repair shops or whatever have access to information to ensure that vehicle is safe to operate, like, how do you even know? It's just like, okay,
my 2006 Honda Civic is running just fine.
I bet it is.
Thank you.
How many ADAS features do you have on it?
Does it still have windows like this?
I didn't say the defrost works or that, I even know the radio code anymore, but it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't unplug the battery or we're hooped.
That was driver's assistance back then, eh? The rear window defrost so the driver could see out of the back window.
Yeah,
that was
driver.
the extent of ADAS on your on your car.
Yes.
Guys, this was fun. I think it was
That's
a
fun.
cool little opportunity to delve in and see what's up. Obviously, we're always asking you guys and those who listen or watch to throw topics. This podcast was indeed just created to get shop owners talking, and my personal goal is to get people off their islands. I don't know why, but we've been clear across Canada. We even did a session with a couple shops or multiple shops a couple weeks ago, and they're not talking. We got them all. We got 8 or 10 shops per session in the room, and they started to realize, what do you do? I don't know. I'm doing this. You're getting that. It's like you guys literally all like live in the same province,
Yeah.
but they don't talk. So I just want to know, beyond that, other than going to the media for some update, where can people go to get informed of what other shops are doing? What meetings, associations are out there? If you guys have any ideas or somebody can share it, because again, just start there. Get out there and start talking with people, not colluding and be like, oh geez, this is so sucky. Get out of the duck pond, like start flapping your wings and fly. But who are you gonna hang out with and talk to and get some real information? That's what I want to know.
That's why we're here, man. Good questions. And nobody really, I don't think a lot of people have that answer. Whether it's, maybe it's, paint company groups or whatever, your industry associations.
Yeah,
but like,
trade association
I
for
still
sure. Yeah.
am just blown away at how few people attend the ARA meetings online. And I'm like, what are we doing here? This is crazy. Hey, there's like 17 shops on the call. I don't know what the actual number was, but it's like there's like nobody.
Yeah.
And if you've got 4 or 5 people from the same shop, that could be 20% or 10% of all the people, and it's just brutal. It's like, man, people, it's like they don't want to get involved. They don't want to hear what's going on. They don't want to ask questions.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when things are going reasonably well. You know what I mean? That's when you get the lowest amount of but when things are going sideways, people tend to want to talk about it, right? But it's
All we
trying
need is a crisis.
right.
Let's
Yeah.
create a
Well,
crisis.
that's
There's a labor shortage.
right.
Get
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah. No, I mean, everybody's so busy being busy, right? Running our businesses and doing these things, but it's trying to build that culture of just, creating those habits. So you're always doing those things. You're always having those conversations, whether things are good, bad, or otherwise, but we'll get there. Absolutely. One day. I have faith in us.
Thanks for the jokes of hope there.
Yeah.
Norm, appreciate it. Love it. And I agree. I mean, the goal of getting people to talk doesn't mean they don't want to. It's just, do they have the time to? I mean, the answer is yes. You got to make the time, but it's that it's available. There are people talking. There are people finding ways. There are businesses out there, this industry included, that are revisiting how they operate and how they treat their people, and they're making a shift now. How much of that is obvious? I don't know. I don't think a lot of people care about gloating about it. I don't think the world is truly always try and find that next positive thing. Sorry, I don't have a great view on the media, but those are the things that we need to do shout outs to. And it includes you finding your own people doing great things. Like, check this out. We just nailed another repair with all the proper procedures done. Another happy customer. Or, hey, shout out to my mechanic, because they did call me and said, hey, all you need is a strut. Everything else is okay. Like, whatever it takes. Just keep putting it out there, and the strongest energy wins, right?
Yeah.
So
that it does.
sweet.
Yeah. Love it.
Right on. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. That's a wrap.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Talk later.
See you later.
See you
Take
guys.
care.
All
Go
right.
Habs, go.
Go Habs, go.
Whoop, whoop.